YouTuber MrBeast gets over 2 billion views per month, while some small channels struggle to reach even 1,000. But his YouTube success did not come overnight because just like you, MrBeast was a small channel too. And the 5-step system he created to blow up on YouTube is something that anyone can copy. But let's go back to the beginning of my story where I set off on a mission to uncover MrBeast's secret YouTube formula. But more importantly, I wanted to know how a small creator like me could replicate this without spending crazy money. So I decided to watch the video Train versus Giant Pit, which got over 150 million views. And here is the opening 5 seconds of the video.
I just bought this train and it is currently barreling full speed towards that giant pit over there.
Did you see what MrBeast did right there? It's only been 5 seconds and there's already so much going on. But let's start with what we see. There is a zoom in effect. MrBeast starts talking. He points his arm. There is already so much movement. But most importantly, it takes less than 1 second for the train to come into the shot. And we need to think back to why we clicked on this video in the first place. So as the viewer, we want to see the train versus the giant pit. And looking at the first line of the video, MrBeast says, I just bought this train and it's currently going full speed towards that giant pit over there. So MrBeast wasted no time and showed the viewer what they wanted in the first 5 seconds. And he also uses another secret trick, which I will go over later. But how do small creators get the intro wrong? Well, I see creators pair the title and the thumbnail together, but then in the opening seconds of their video, they will start waffling about some random stuff, such as asking the viewer to like the video. You need to stop doing this because the intro needs to work together with the title and thumbnail. If the intro doesn't deliver on what the title and thumbnail promise, then the viewer will click off and you will get retention graphs that look like this. So that brings us to the first element in MrBeast's formula, and that is to get to the point with your hook. But there are still 4 more pieces to the puzzle, and this next one kind of relates to the first element. So going back to the reason why the viewer clicked on the video in the first place, we wanted to see the train fall into the giant pit, right? But notice how MrBeast cuts the clip right before the train falls. If he showed the crash straight away, then what do you think would have happened? Everybody would click off because they got what they came for. So what MrBeast did was reveal the big payoff at the end of the video. And this makes it so that the viewer watches the rest of the video first, which gives MrBeast a higher watch percentage. So the second element in MrBeast's formula is the big payoff. Hint at it early and don't show it until the end. But there is just one problem. What is stopping people from just skipping to the end of the video? Well, that is where the third element comes into play. So right after the opening 5 seconds, MrBeast does this.
We're also crashing countless cars, blowing up thousands of sticks of real dynamite, just to show you the most insane experiments of all time.
So you know how in video games you have the main storyline, but then there are side quests that you can do along the way too? Well, that is basically what MrBeast is doing here. The main quest is the train versus giant pit, but he also adds in these other experiments that act as mini payoffs for the viewer to keep them interested as he builds up to the final boss of the video. And this discovery was a major breakthrough for my investigation, but I also wanted to know how I could use these in my own videos, and that's when I figured it out. So think about what I've been doing in this video. It's a story of me analyzing a MrBeast video, but notice how I broke it down into a puzzle with 5 steps. This makes you want to watch the video to discover the 5 steps of the formula. But I also make sure to sprinkle in reminders here and there to make sure you don't forget. And that's why top 5 listicle videos do well, because they unintentionally follow this rule with the mini payoffs. So the third element is to have mini payoffs in your video as a way to build up to the big payoff. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you mess just one of these things up, then that could be the reason why your video fails. And that's why I'm helping small YouTubers create content that will help them grow their channels faster. So if you're sick of wasting hours of your time creating videos that get no views, then click the link in the description to learn how I can help you. But let's dive deeper into our analysis of MrBeast. As you know, MrBeast likes to edit at a very fast pace. He likes to get to the point with quick cuts that push the story forward. And I noticed this, so I decided to try this fast-paced editing style myself. But when I published my video, my watch percentage was very bad. And it was even worse than some of my old videos that had no editing at all. So I realized that fast-paced editing wasn't the only thing that mattered, but there was something else too, and I came across that in this clip from MrBeast.
Here it comes! Oh my gosh!
Notice how they went into slow motion as the buses fell? Obviously it looks cool, but why is that the case? Well, after being conditioned to the fast pacing, I actually noticed myself being more focused when the video slowed down. But it isn't just the slow motion effect itself, because if the whole video was in slow motion, then it wouldn't hit the same. It's actually the contrast with the rest of the video that makes you pay attention during the slow motion bit, because you need rhythm in the editing. It needs to flow up, down, and up again like music. Your favorite song isn't the same the whole way through. It starts out slow, and then the beat drops, and this variety variety is what makes the song good, and the same is true for your video editing. So element 4 is to have variety in the rhythm of your editing, and that takes us on to element 5 of the puzzle. And to illustrate this, I want to show you the retention graph for one of my old videos. This video did very well, but I made a massive mistake which killed my audience retention right at the end of the video. Without this big drop here, I could have had a watch percentage close to 60%, which might have been the difference between my video getting 200,000 views compared to the 20,000 that I ended up getting. So going back to the MrBeast video, his big payoff was the train versus giant pit. So he shows the train falling into the pit, he reacts to it, and then the video ends.
Train versus pit, the pit won.
In my video though, after the big reveal, I then schizo rambled for another minute, and since the viewers already got what they came for, they just left, and that destroyed my watch percentage. So here's what you do instead. Show the big reveal and then quickly do a call to action for your viewers. And what I like to do is ask the viewer to watch another video. So earlier I mentioned the importance of the payoff for increasing your watch percentage, but if your thumbnails are trash, then that could be the difference from getting 100,000 views to getting 1 million views. So check out this video where I'll show you the top 5 thumbnail mistakes that YouTubers make that completely ruins your video. See what I just did there?